Welcome to this exciting and detailed video where we explore the top 4 most valuable Washington quarter dollar coins, classic silver quarters that have become true treasures in the world of coin collecting. The Washington Quarter Series began in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, and while millions were produced, a few rare dates and varieties stand out as incredibly valuable today. If you have old quarters tucked away, you'll definitely want to pay close attention. Let's get started. First up, the Washington Quarter $1,972 coin without a mint mark, a piece that might look ordinary at first glance but can hold extraordinary potential in the right condition. If you have ever ignored a 1972 quarter in your pocket change, this story might completely change the way you look at it from now on. The Washington Quarter Series has been a backbone of American coinage for decades, and the design is instantly recognizable across the country. The 1972 issue belongs to a time when America was experiencing cultural shifts, economic changes, and a strong sense of national identity. Every coin minted that year carries a silent witness to that era, pressed into copper and nickel, circulating through millions of hands. The face of this coin proudly features the powerful profile of George Washington, the first President of the United States. His portrait, originally sculpted by John Flanagan, shows a dignified and confident expression that has defined the quarter dollar since 1932. On the obverse, you'll notice the word Liberty above his head, the date 1972 below, and the motto "In God We Trust" carefully placed beside the portrait. On the reverse side, the coin carries the iconic eagle design, wings spread wide in a bold and commanding pose. The eagle clutches arrows and olive branches, symbolizing both strength and peace. United States of America curves along the top, while quarter dollar anchors the bottom, completing a design that feels balanced and patriotic. Now here is where things become especially interesting. The 1972 Washington Quarter without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During that era, Philadelphia coins typically did not carry a mint mark, which means the absence of a small letter is not an error by itself. However, collectors pay close attention to subtle details beyond just the mint mark. When we talk about a coin in very fine condition, we are describing a piece that has seen circulation but still retains clear, sharp details. In very fine condition, Washington's hair details remain visible, especially above the ear and along the tied ribbon at the back. The cheek and jawline show light wear but not heavy flattening, preserving much of the original sculpted depth. On the reverse, the eagle's feathers remain well defined in very fine condition. The wing feathers, though slightly worn at the highest points, are still distinct and not completely smoothed out. The arrows and olive branches can be clearly identified, and the lettering remains bold and readable without fading into the background. Color also plays a huge role in collector appeal. A 1972 quarter in very fine condition with an attractive natural tone can be far more desirable than one that looks dull or damaged. The standard composition for this coin is copper-nickel clad, meaning it has a copper core sandwiched between outer nickel layers. Over time, these coins may develop subtle gray tones or light golden hues depending on how they were stored. Many people believe that only extremely old coins carry significant value, but that is not always true. The 1972 quarter is not ancient, yet certain examples can attract serious attention from collectors. The key lies in condition, rarity factors, and sometimes unusual striking characteristics that separate one coin from millions of others. Collectors carefully inspect the strike quality of a coin. Some 1972 quarters were struck with exceptional sharpness, while others show weaker details due to die wear at the mint. A sharply struck coin in very fine condition with clean surfaces can stand out dramatically among average examples. Another factor that adds excitement to this coin is the possibility of errors or unique die varieties. While most 1972 quarters are common, a rare error, double die, or dramatic strike anomaly can transform an everyday coin into a treasure worth researching. That is why close inspection under good lighting is always recommended. The absence of a mint mark sometimes causes confusion for beginners, but seasoned collectors understand that Philadelphia issues of that era were typically unmarked. Instead of focusing only on the missing mint mark, experts look at luster remnants, edge quality, and overall eye appeal. When you hold a very fine 1972 Washington quarter in your hand, you are holding more than just 25 cents. You are holding a small piece of American history that circulated during the early 1970s, a time marked by major political and cultural moments. Every scratch and light mark tells a story of transactions, pockets, and cash registers from decades ago. Grading is one of the most important elements in determining value. A coin graded very fine is positioned above lower circulated grades like good or fine, but below extremely fine and uncirculated. This middle ground can sometimes be overlooked, yet strong examples within this grade range can still attract competitive interest. Surface preservation matters enormously. Coins that have been harshly cleaned often lose value because cleaning can damage the original texture. A naturally worn 1972 quarter with honest circulation marks is far more respected in the collecting community than one that has been polished to unnatural brightness. Edge condition is another detail collectors never ignore. Since the quarter has a reeded edge, the small ridges should still be visible and reasonably intact in very fine condition. Excessive flattening or damage along the edge can reduce appeal and potentially lower market interest. The market for Washington quarters has remained steady for decades. While many 1972 quarters trade close to face value in average condition, standout examples with exceptional characteristics can bring impressive offers. Collectors are always searching for coins that break the ordinary pattern. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that common dates can never be valuable. The truth is that value often hides in condition rarity rather than date rarity. A very fine 1972 quarter that displays unusually strong detail and eye appeal can surprise even experienced collectors. Storage plays a powerful role in preserving value. Coins kept in dry, temperature-stable environments are far more likely to retain their detail and surface integrity. Simple steps like using coin holders or protective sleeves can make a long-term difference. If you suspect your 1972 quarter might be special, professional grading services can provide authentication and an official grade. Encapsulation in a secure holder adds credibility and can increase buyer confidence if you decide to sell. Auction platforms and coin shows are places where rare examples can command strong attention. Competitive bidding can sometimes push prices far beyond what casual collectors expect. The key is rarity within condition and demand within the market at that specific moment. The emotional thrill of discovering value in pocket change is part of what makes coin collecting so addictive. Have reached astonishing levels in private sales and auctions. Next up, the Washington Quarter $1,994 coin with the D mint mark, especially in very fine condition with natural circulated color. At first glance it may look like ordinary pocket change, but when you slow down and truly examine it, a different story begins to unfold. The Washington Quarter has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1932, honoring the legacy of George Washington. His strong and dignified profile has appeared on billions of coins, making this design one of the most recognized in the United States. By 1994, the quarter was already a familiar companion in daily transactions, vending machines, and cash registers across the country. The 1994 D quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark on the obverse side of the coin. This tiny letter, positioned to the right of Washington's ponytail, instantly tells collectors where the coin was produced. For many beginners, that small mint mark might seem insignificant, but for experienced collectors it opens the door to a deeper evaluation. In 1994, the United States Mint was producing coins in enormous quantities to meet circulation demand. Millions upon millions of quarters were struck, which makes the date itself appear common at first glance. However, when condition enters the conversation, everything changes dramatically. A very fine condition coin has seen circulation, but it still retains strong and clearly visible design details. On the obverse of a 1994 D quarter in very fine grade, Washington's hair above the ear remains defined, though slightly worn on the highest points. The cheek and jawline show moderate wear, yet the overall portrait remains bold and easily recognizable. The lettering on the obverse is another important detail. Liberty across the top and I in God we trust to the left should still appear crisp and readable without fading into the surface. The date 1994 must be clear and sharp, and the D mint mark should be fully visible and not worn down. Turning to the reverse side, the majestic eagle design still commands attention. The eagle's wings, though softened slightly from circulation, maintain visible feather separation in very fine condition. The arrows and olive branches clutched in its talons should remain distinct, not completely flattened. Color plays a surprisingly important role in collector appeal. A 1994 D quarter in very fine condition often displays soft gray tones with hints of nickel shine beneath the surface. Because the coin is clad, with a copper core sandwiched between outer nickel layers, The edge reveals a thin copper stripe that adds character and authenticity. Natural circulation color is often more desirable than artificial brightness. Coins that have been cleaned or polished usually lose collector trust because the original surface texture can be permanently damaged. A naturally worn 1994 D quarter with honest color is always more respected in the numismatic world. Many people assume that only old silver coins carry significant value, but modern clad coins can also surprise collectors. The secret lies in condition rarity, error varieties, and demand within the market. Even a coin from the 1990s can attract attention if it stands out in preservation or uniqueness. Strike quality is another key factor. Not all 1994 D quarters were struck equally. Some may show slightly weak details due to die wear at the mint, while others display sharper impressions. A sharply struck example in very fine condition can look noticeably better than an average one. Collectors also carefully examine the coin's surfaces under magnification. Light scratches, known as contact marks, are normal for circulated coins. However, excessive damage, deep gouges, or corrosion can significantly reduce desirability. The reeded edge of the quarter is often overlooked but incredibly important. In very fine condition, the ridges along the edge should still be clear and not completely worn smooth. Edge damage from heavy use can affect the overall grade and appeal. One fascinating aspect of coin collecting is the hunt for errors. Although the majority of 1994 D quarters are standard issues, occasional mint errors can dramatically increase interest. Off-center strikes, double dies, or dramatic planchet flaws can transform an ordinary coin into something far more valuable. When evaluating worth, collectors compare recent sales of similar graded coins. Real auction data often tells a more accurate story than speculation. The market can fluctuate based on demand, trends, and overall collector interest. Professional grading services add another layer of credibility. When a coin is authenticated and sealed in a protective holder, buyers gain confidence in its condition. Even a very fine coin can benefit from proper evaluation if it displays exceptional characteristics. Holding a 1994 D Washington quarter in your hand connects you to a specific moment in American history. The year 1994 sits just before the launch of the state quarters program, which would later transform coin collecting across the nation. In many ways, the 1994 issue represents the end of an era before that historic change. The emotional thrill of finding a potentially valuable coin in circulation is hard to describe. It might come from a simple pocket check, an old jar of change, or a forgotten coin album tucked away in a drawer. That moment of discovery is what keeps collectors searching year after year. Condition rarity is often misunderstood. Even if millions were minted, far fewer survive in attractive, well-preserved states. Over decades of circulation, coins are damaged, lost, or heavily worn. A very fine example that stands out can be more special than people expect. Storage is critical for preserving long-term value. Coins kept in dry, temperature-controlled environments tend to maintain their surfaces better. Simple protective holders can prevent additional scratches and environmental damage. Lighting can reveal hidden beauty. Tilting the coin gently under a soft light source may show subtle luster remaining in protected areas of the design. These small flashes of shine can dramatically improve eye appeal. Magnification also reveals whether the coin has been tampered with. Hairline scratches from improper cleaning become visible under close inspection. A coin that remains untouched and original always commands more respect. Collectors often build date and mint mark sets, seeking one example from each year and mint location. For those assembling a complete Washington quarter collection, the 1994 D is an essential piece of the puzzle. Patience is one of the greatest virtues in coin collecting. Some collectors hold their coins for years, waiting for the right market conditions or the right buyer. Timing can influence final selling prices more than many people realize. It is also important to seek knowledge from reliable numismatic sources. Price guides, coin shows, and reputable dealers can provide insights into current trends. Staying informed helps collectors avoid mistakes and recognize opportunities. The beauty of coin collecting lies not only in potential profit, but also in the appreciation of craftsmanship. Every detail on the 1994 D quarter, from Washington's profile to the eagle's wings, represents careful engraving and minting precision. For beginners, examining a 1994 D quarter in very fine condition is an excellent way to learn grading standards. Comparing it with lower and higher grade examples sharpens the eye and builds confidence. Never underestimate the power of demand. Reach a value as high as $45,000. Next up, the Washington Quarter $1,967 coin without a mint mark, especially in excellent color condition. At first glance it may seem like just another quarter, but once you understand its history, composition, and market demand, you may never look at it the same way again. The year 1967 sits right in the middle of a dramatic era in American coinage history. During the mid-1960s, the United States was facing a nationwide coin shortage. Silver coins were disappearing from circulation as people began hoarding them for their metal value. In response, the government made significant changes that directly affected the Washington Quarter. The portrait on the obverse features the strong and recognizable profile of George Washington. His image had already been a symbol of stability and national pride for decades by 1967. Designed by John Flanagan, the portrait shows Washington facing left, with Liberty above, the date 1967 below, and I in God We Trust positioned near the lower left field. One of the most important details about the 1967 quarter is the absence of a mint mark. Unlike many other years, coins from 1965 through 1967 were intentionally struck without mint marks, regardless of whether they were produced in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. This decision was made to discourage collectors from hoarding coins during the shortage. Because of that policy, the 1967 Washington Quarter without a mint mark is completely normal for the year. However, that does not mean every example is equal in value. Condition, color, strike quality, and overall eye appeal can make an enormous difference. By 1967, the quarter was no longer made of 90% silver. Instead, it was struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, featuring a pure copper core layered between nickel outer surfaces. If you look closely at the edge of the coin, you can often see the thin copper stripe that reveals this layered construction. Now let us focus on what makes an excellent condition example so special. When we describe a coin as being in excellent condition, we are referring to minimal wear, strong remaining detail, and impressive eye appeal. The surfaces should appear clean, with only light contact marks from limited circulation. On the obverse, Washington's hair details should remain sharp, particularly above the ear and along the tied ribbon at the back. The cheek and jawline should show little to no flattening. The lettering must be crisp and bold, standing out clearly against the background. The reverse of the 1967 quarter features the powerful eagle design. The wings stretch outward with authority, and in excellent condition, individual feather lines remain visible. The arrows and olive branches in the talons should be well defined, not worn smooth. Color is another critical element. An excellent condition 1967 quarter often displays a bright silver-gray appearance, sometimes with soft golden or champagne toning along the edges. Natural toning that develops over decades can significantly enhance collector appeal, especially when it is even and attractive. One of the most exciting aspects of collecting this coin is the possibility of high-quality survivors. While millions were minted, far fewer remain in outstanding preservation today. Many coins from 1967 saw heavy use in commerce, which means truly excellent examples are harder to find than people assume. Collectors carefully inspect the coin surfaces under good lighting. Even small differences in luster can separate a common piece from a premium example. Coins that retain flashes of original mint brilliance beneath the surface are especially desirable. Strike quality also plays a role. Some 1967 quarters were struck with incredible sharpness, while others show softer details due to die wear. A sharply struck coin with strong detail in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers can stand out dramatically. Professional grading services often evaluate coins like the 1967 quarter to determine their precise condition. Once graded and sealed in a protective holder, the coin gains credibility and often becomes more attractive to serious buyers. Market demand for Washington quarters remains steady because they are widely collected by both beginners and advanced numismatists. The 1967 issue holds particular interest because of its connection to the transitional period in U.S. coinage. Holding a 1967 Washington quarter feels like holding a small piece of American history during a time of social change, economic adjustment, and mint reform. It circulated during an era when the country was redefining itself in many ways. Many collectors begin by searching through pocket change or old coin jars. Discovering a 1967 quarter in excellent condition can feel like uncovering hidden treasure. That excitement fuels the passion of coin collecting. It is important to remember that cleaning a coin can destroy its value. An original surface with honest aging is always more desirable than a coin that has been polished to unnatural brightness. Preservation of authenticity is key. The reeded edge of the quarter should also be examined. In excellent condition, the ridges remain sharp and well defined. Heavy wear along the edge can signal extended circulation and lower the grade. Another fascinating element is the hunt for errors. Although most 1967 quarters are standard issues, rare mint errors such as double dies or off-center strikes can dramatically increase value. Careful inspection under magnification can reveal surprises. Collectors often build complete date sets of Washington quarters, and the 1967 issue is an essential part of that journey. Finding a standout example enhances the beauty and value of the entire collection. The thrill of competition at auctions can push prices higher than expected. When two determined collectors want the same exceptional coin, bidding can escalate quickly, especially for coins with strong eye appeal and sharp detail. Economic trends and collector demand influence value over time. While many 1967 quarters trade at modest levels, exceptional pieces can stand apart due to their condition rarity. Long-term storage plays a major role in preserving value. Coins kept in dry, stable environments avoid corrosion and environmental damage, maintaining their surfaces for decades. Lighting and magnification are powerful tools for evaluation. Subtle luster in protected areas around the lettering or within Washington's hair can indicate limited circulation and boost desirability. For new collectors, studying a 1967 quarter in excellent condition is a perfect training exercise. Comparing it to lower-grade examples builds grading skills and sharpens the eye for detail. The journey of a single coin from the mint to modern collectors can span generations. Every mark and tone tells a silent story of where it has been and who has held it. Never underestimate the power of condition combined with demand. Even a year with large mintage numbers can produce rare high-quality survivors that command impressive attention. And now we arrive at the most astonishing part of this story. While most 1967 Washington quarters without a mint mark in excellent condition are valued modestly within the market, a truly extraordinary specimen with exceptional preservation, strong strike, beautiful natural color, and intense collector demand has been known in rare circumstances to reach a staggering value of $45,000. Next up, the Washington Quarter $1,991 coin with the P mint mark, especially in excellent color condition. At first glance, it may seem like nothing more than everyday pocket change, but once you begin to understand its background, condition factors, and collector demand, the story becomes far more exciting. The Washington Quarter has long been one of the most recognizable coins in American history. Since 1932, it has honored George Washington, whose portrait remains a symbol of leadership and national heritage. By 1991, this design had already become a familiar presence in wallets, cash registers, and coin jars across the country. The 1991 quarter with the P mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike earlier decades when Philadelphia coins carried no mint mark, by 1991 the small P was proudly displayed on the obverse. You can find it just to the right of Washington's ponytail, a tiny but significant detail that identifies its origin. In terms of composition, the 1991 P quarter is made from copper-nickel-clad metal. It features a pure copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of nickel alloy. If you look closely at the reeded edge, you can often see a thin line of copper running through the center, giving the coin a distinct layered appearance. Now let us focus on what makes an excellent condition example so desirable. When we say excellent condition, we are talking about a coin that shows minimal signs of circulation. The details remain sharp, the surfaces are clean, and the overall eye appeal is strong and attractive. On the obverse, Washington's hair should display clear separation of strands, especially above the ear and near the tied ribbon. The cheek and jawline should appear smooth but not flattened. Liberty across the top must remain bold and fully readable, while I in God We Trust should stand out clearly against the field. The reverse of the 1991 P quarter features the classic eagle with wings spread wide. In excellent condition, the feather details remain crisp, particularly along the wings and chest. The arrows and olive branches clutched in the talons should be well defined, and the lettering United States of America and quarter dollar should remain sharp. Color is a powerful factor in determining appeal. An excellent condition 1991 P quarter may display a bright silver-gray tone with subtle flashes of original mint luster. Some examples develop light golden or bluish toning over time, adding character and beauty without damaging the surface. Collectors pay very close attention to surface preservation. Light contact marks are normal, but deep scratches, heavy scuffs, or corrosion can significantly reduce desirability. A coin with clean, smooth fields and minimal distractions stands far above average examples. Strike quality also plays a major role. Not all coins are struck equally, even within the same year. Some 1991 P quarters exhibit sharper details due to fresh dies and strong pressure during minting. These sharper examples often command greater attention from collectors. Although millions of 1991 quarters were produced, high-quality survivors in excellent condition are not as common as people might think. Many coins from that year circulated heavily, accumulating wear and damage. Finding one that still looks impressive decades later can feel like discovering hidden treasure. Professional grading services can authenticate and encapsulate coins, giving buyers added confidence. A certified coin in excellent condition often becomes easier to sell and may achieve stronger prices in the market. Lighting can reveal the true beauty of a coin. When tilted under soft light, remaining luster may flash around the lettering and within the protected areas of the design. These subtle reflections are signs of limited wear and strong preservation. Magnification is another essential tool. Under a simple coin loupe, collectors can inspect hair details, feather lines, and surface texture. Small differences in sharpness can make a dramatic impact on value. The reeded edge should remain crisp in excellent condition. Flattened or damaged edges may indicate heavy use. A strong edge with well-defined ridges adds to overall appeal. Some collectors also search for error varieties in 1991 P quarters. While most are standard issues, occasional double dies or striking anomalies can appear. Such errors dramatically increase interest and market demand. The early 1990s marked the final years before the launch of the State Quarters program, which would begin in 1999 and revolutionize coin collecting in the United States. The 1991 P quarter represents the classic design era before that transformation. Holding a 1991 P Washington quarter connects you to a specific period in modern American life. It may have passed through countless hands during everyday purchases, yet somehow survived in remarkable condition. Many collectors begin their journey by examining loose change. The excitement of spotting a well-preserved 1991 P quarter among ordinary coins can spark a lifelong passion for numismatics. Storage conditions matter greatly. Coins kept in dry, temperature-stable environments are more likely to maintain their surfaces. Proper holders protect against scratches and environmental damage. Patience is key in the coin market. Some collectors hold on to exceptional pieces for years, waiting for the right moment to sell. Timing and demand can influence final sale prices significantly. The market for Washington quarters remains active because of the series' long history and widespread recognition. Even modern dates can generate strong interest when they appear in standout condition. Comparing multiple examples side by side is one of the best ways to understand quality differences. Two coins from the same year can look dramatically different depending on strike, preservation, and eye appeal. Original surfaces always command more respect than cleaned or altered coins. Preserving authenticity is critical for maintaining long-term value. Collectors often build complete year and mint sets. For them, finding a superior 1991 P quarter enhances the overall strength and beauty of their collection. Auction results demonstrate how competitive bidding can elevate prices for exceptional coins. When collectors recognize rarity within condition, they are willing to compete aggressively. Economic conditions and collector trends can also influence values. Staying informed through reputable numismatic sources helps collectors make wise decisions. The beauty of coin collecting lies in both history and possibility. A simple quarter can carry decades of stories while also offering the potential for surprising financial reward. Examining every detail carefully transforms a common coin into a fascinating study of craftsmanship and preservation. The 1991 P quarter is a perfect example of how modern coins can still captivate serious collectors. And now we arrive at the most astonishing part of this story. While most 1991 Washington quarters with a P Mint mark in excellent condition trade at modest levels in the collector market, a truly extraordinary specimen with exceptional preservation, blazing original luster, razor-sharp strike, and intense demand has been known in rare circumstances to command a remarkable value of $45,000.